Welcome to the X Room Podcast. I'm Maylee Nelson.
Sean Finnegan.
And today we get to finally, oh my gosh, we've been trying to get you in here for a long time. Thank you for being here, Sean Whalen. So good. Yes. So we just came from the X Room, and there's 300 plus people here. Why do you show up to the X Room?
See Sean.
Yeah, right.
Of course. I mean, is there any other reason anyone else shows up? No, I mean, I love meeting people that I don't otherwise see, friends that are off building their businesses and their lives, and kind of everybody congregates. So the networking, the people, the connection, I think that's one of the coolest events that you guys put on.
Awesome.
Just network, just talk to people.
Yeah, grow, right?
You see everybody on social media, and then all of a sudden everybody's in one room and you're like, oh, I know you, and it's great.
I've known Sean for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So I remember we worked together early on in a business, and he was always charismatic and dynamic, like literally.
Always.
Like we used to do events together. We used to get up and speak, and like the people in the room, they didn't know who he was. This is before social media, really. And Whalen would get up there, and he could just, by the end of his presentation, right? It was crazy. Like droves of people would go back and they would buy real estate.
Yep.
It was incredible.
It was wild.
Like, and so I kind of lost track of him a little bit after that time. And then I remember going on Facebook, and you got the cigar, and he's doing a rant.
Yes, I love his rants.
And on your watch, and I'm like, this is the most brilliant thing that you found this like connection with people through social that is so from the soul.
Yeah.
It's all relevant, and it's like you're finishing our thoughts. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel, right? It's incredible.
I love it, man. I mean, with that, you remember me when that first post went viral. Like, I actually didn't have social media. My ex-wife had social media, had Facebook before I did. I was like, what is this social media thing? It's weird. Long story short, that one post that went viral, like I realized two things in that. Like, number one, it felt good. And it was hard. It was like a very vulnerable post. And this is 15 years ago. And I was like, I felt better after I shared it. I was like, all right, I don't feel like I'm hiding and trying to put this curated image out there. But the second thing is I realized, like, I shared some darkness. Like, I shared some real struggles in my own personal life, and millions and millions and millions of people resonated with it. Like, it went viral. And so I was kind of like, all right, well, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. So I was like, if the equation to reaching a lot of people is also something that helps me feel better by sharing my life and story and feelings and emotions, I'm just going to keep doing it. And
can you talk more about that post? What was the background leading up to doing that first post?
I went through a divorce, and I was really angry. I was bitter. I was sad. I was mad. I was hurt, all of the emotions. And it was a really tumultuous time. And fast forward, my ex-wife and I built a good relationship. We kind of healed. And I shared a story one night about how she'd gotten remarried, had a new baby. And we were at a place where, like, we weren't talking for like a year, and everything was through lawyers and the whole thing. And I ended up getting to a place where I went to their house one night and was picking up my kids, and my kids were like, Dad, come in and see the baby. And I'm like, no, like, baby steps, right? We're just trying to rebuild this relationship and become friends. And long story short, I ended up going in and I'm holding her new baby with her husband, and I took a selfie of me and this baby. And I went home that night, and my kids were getting ready, and I just sat down on my bed and I just wrote. And I was like, no one has any idea. You'll never know, like, what it took for me to be able to, like, overcome my own demons and my own fears and my own anger. I mean, divorce is horrible, right? And this moment, like, meant so much to me. But I talked about how I was angry and I was bitter, and I shared stuff that I had never shared before. And I just told the truth. I told the truth of what I was thinking and what I was feeling
all night long.
And dude, I went to bed that night not thinking anything. I had like 200 followers, 200 friends on Facebook, and woke up the next morning, and every hour for 14 straight days, 2 weeks, over 10,000 people liked that post. Like, it went viral. So it went from, a couple hundred people to tens of thousands of followers, like thousands of messages and millions of views of this picture. And I was like, what in the hell? Like, this is odd. You know what I mean? But it's been an insane journey the last decade plus.
Something that really inspired me. I was at an event, and it was a private venue. It was at a house. You might remember it, but you came and spoke to Sarah Foley's. Yeah. So we were sitting there, and I remember you saying something that just really lit me up, and I was just like, oh, I needed to hear that, and I think the world needs to hear this, and I'm sure you share it all the time, but it's this idea of, like, when you get inspiration, just do it. And it was like, so I'd love for you to expound upon it, but it literally hit my soul because it was like, what are you literally asked me, like, what are you doing right now that you know you're supposed to be doing?
Right.
That you're not doing.
Yeah.
And actually after that day, I changed like my entire, so thank you.
Yeah,
you didn't even know that, but like I literally changed. I went home and I started writing. I took like 3 days and just wrote like, what am I here to do? What am I being called to do? And I'm not living with that calling. I wasn't, you know, and now I really feel like I am.
Good.
So thank
Good.
you.
You're
like,
welcome.
yeah, but I'd love for you to like expound upon that, like that internal, like that connection that you have with God and just like how you are able to do what you do.
No, I love hearing that. It's interesting because like we all have ego, we all have fear, we all have pride, we all have these emotions, right? And if you're like me and everybody is, you've screwed a lot of things up in life, and there's a lot of things you're embarrassed about or you wish you could go back and change. And we live in so much fear about judgment. You know, I've spoken around the world and I always ask the same question. You've heard me ask 1,000 times, how many of you have ever failed? And like, everybody raise your hands. I'm like, you know, we're not afraid of failing because we've done it so many times. What we're afraid of is being judged.
Right.
And so when these thoughts come to us and these feelings come to us, like we get all fired up and it's like you can be in your car yelling at your rear view mirror, sharing this passionate feeling and emotion. And you're like, and then when it comes time to sharing that with the world, we water it down because we don't want to be judged by our neighbors or church or our coworkers, and we don't want to lose friends or followers. And so
our image.
We take this passion inside of us, these emotions inside of us, and we water it down so it'll be palatable by everybody. And really what it does is it just dilutes what's really in your soul. And I have found that every single time something's gone viral, it's like that moment where I feel something and I either pull my car over and I just write. And it's almost like I black out. I just write these words. I hit send. Grammatically incorrect. I misspell words all the time and it ends up going viral. Or I just pick up my phone and I'm having this emotion or this feeling like this Trump one I did the other day. I'm driving to my ranch, 90-second conversation. It's just a thought that I have and a feeling that I have. I hit, share 16 million views later. And so I feel like we have, and everybody is in the same boat. Like we all have emotions. Like we all have fears. We all have anger. We all have frustration. We all have these things. And what we're doing is we're taking our raw emotion, our true desire, like what we really want, what we really feel, and we're watering it down so that it doesn't offend anybody, piss anybody off, cause any friction.
Yeah.
And really what you're doing is saying, well, I'm not going to give you me. I'm going to give you some watered down, palatable version of me. And number one, that's why stuff doesn't go viral, because people just aren't, recognizable. And it's funny that you asked that question. I was at the gym this morning. I was watching the little clip on YouTube, and it was from the movie Troy. And it was the Brad Pitt scene where he's sitting on the horse. And the little kid comes up to him and says, you're going to go fight this guy, whoever he was supposed to fight. He's a monster. Like, he's huge. He's unbeatable. I would never fight him. And he turns and he looks at him and he says, that's why no one will ever remember your name.
Yes.
And he rides off. I watched that this morning at the gym.
Power.
I kid you not.
Wow.
And I thought about that and I'm just like, it's true.
Yes.
So true.
It's true. That's why most people will never actually plant their flag, will never rise in leadership. And look, not everybody's supposed to be, right? But at the end of the day, that's the truth, is you're not going to be remembered. You're not going to dent the universe. You're not going to create movements, heal people, lead people, if you're not willing to be absolutely hated. If you're not willing to do things that are terrifying to most people, you won't be. And I mean, that scene where he's on the horse, he's like, that's why no one's going to remember your name.
I got to say, out of all my friends, with your shirt off, you look the closest to that Brad Pitt Troy. I think we need to work hard, man. When we do this, we'll have Cole do it side by side, because I've seen you with your shirt off. So you're obviously, you're the founder of a movement, which is Lions Not Sheep.
Yep.
And I rep your product.
All the time.
So I
Thank
wear
you.
your shirt a lot. And I think my coolness level goes up when I wear it. Like I remember going to get some gas, and I'm wearing your shirt, and I go walking to the gas station, and this guy's like, hey.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I forgot that I had the shirt on.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? And I get that a lot. And it's like this movement where you just walk around with that shirt, and they're like, yeah, we know. It's like this, it's this
The good cult.
incredible movement that you've created, which will outlive you.
I want it to.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I mean, that's the vision. It's interesting because, like, it's 3 words. and I get that question more than anything else. Be on an elevator and you have a hat or a shirt. It's just, you're like, lions, a sheep. Like, what does that mean? And my answer is the same every single time. What do you think it means?
Yeah.
It's to be a lion, not a sheep. And I think it's such a simple yet polarizing message, and it came to me years and years and years ago when I was going through one of my dark seasons, and it literally became that simple of an idea. Like, I have a choice to be a lion or a sheep. Yeah. And people mocking, well, lions are this and lions are in the circus and then whatever. It's like a lion does whatever the hell he wants to do, period. And a sheep does what everybody else does, period. Yeah. And it's that simple. And I think that's what makes it so powerful for people.
Going back to
so connected.
Troy.
Yeah. It's like you have a choice what you speak into the phone, what you write, what you say, what you build, what you do. You have 100% control over that. And one of two things will happen. You'll either do exactly what you want to do, whether it breaks all the rules, whether it's something that no one has done before, whether it's me being a conservative talking out against, Trump, or you're going to do what everybody else is comfortable with, say what everybody else is, not offended by, and whatever else. And I think that's what makes it such a fun experience for me, is seeing it resonate with so many people because it's so damn simple.
Yeah.
But yet it's so complex to so many people because everybody wants to be that, but what we do is different.
Amen.
Yes.
So powerful.
So good. Okay, so let's talk about kids. Let's talk about family. I know that both of you are like the best dads. I've heard both sides
Appreciate
of the stories, and I'm just like, as a woman that has, I obviously want to be a good mother and a steward of their feelings, and I want to make sure that they're safe and but it really does take their dad. Like, it takes their dad to give a woman specifically, like to give a girl, to give your kids that confidence. So I'd love for both of you to give me your story of what it means for you to be a dad.
You go first.
So I love this topic. I'm a girl daddy, and when I first was having a girl, I was terrified because I had no idea how to have a girl. I had brothers, pretty much. I had an older sister, but I had no idea. And I remember going to the ultrasound, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, how am I supposed to raise a little girl? I pictured I'd have like a full, 5
army of boys,
all-stars playing basketball or whatever it is. And I'm like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And I met with one of my mentors, Brian Tracy, and he's like, he didn't give me the answer. I was like, hey, I just told him my fear and what I was a 23-year-old.
Brian Tracy was your freaking mentor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I used to travel with Brian Tracy. He knows. And so he didn't give me the answer. He's like, I'm going to give you 10 books to read. Like, 10 books for free. So he gave me 10 books to read. I went and I studied for 6 months in these 10 books. And I started learning that actually the father does play a big role in sons and daughters.
Yes.
But specifically a daughters, that if a father builds up their daughter, then their confidence, and they get that approval. They crave that confidence and that approval from their father. And if you give them that on a daily basis, you build them up spiritually, physically, mentally, every day. They put on this armor, and then they become powerful. And then they hit the world and they have this confidence, and a lot of it does come from that father. So I try to do that with my daughters, and I never missed a day of saying, you know what? When my daughter, I have a 19-year-old now, when she walks in the room, when she smiles, literally she lights up the room, and she has these self-doubts, and I'm like, sweetie, your smile is the sweetest. Like, if you just understood the impact you have when you walk in any room, that you can light that room up. So physically, mentally, and so that's what I've learned the most as a father.
I agree, man. You had a video recently go viral.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I agree with you. My oldest is a girl, and she's 23. She's married, has a baby. So I'm a grandpa.
You're a grandpa.
You're a grandpa.
But it's wild. Jacked grandpa.
Dude, I
right?
just seen you with that.
Oh, it changed the game for me. But like being a father to me it's the greatest thing that I've ever done. And like you, like I saw a long time ago that, nothing that I could do financially, business-wise, accolades-wise would ever trump being a dad. And so I'm grateful that I learned that at a young age.
Yeah.
Because my old man wasn't around, my dad wasn't around. And so I kind of had this idea, I want to do it the exact opposite of how he did it, because he wasn't there, and there wasn't a lot of love, and there wasn't support, and there wasn't an encouragement. So I just poured into my kids.
Yeah.
You know, but one of the things that I have sitting on my desk that's like, if my house caught on fire, I take my dog and a couple of these little things. But my son wrote me a note for my birthday, and it's framed. I framed it. It's on my desk, and he talks about how hard I was on him. And he's like, I'm so grateful that you were that way with me, because number one, I know how much you loved me, but number two, I see exactly why. You know, and now fast forward, I poured into my daughter. I would show up at school, all the rules, like I would just walk right into class and hand her flowers, and people were like, oh, well, you need to go to the thing. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like,
yeah.
You know, and people get mad, say, got to follow the rules. And I'm like, no, I want my daughter to know that a man adores her and loves her and will cherish her and pour into her. And, you know, fast forward, she married that man. And her husband adores her.
Oh,
absolutely adores her and worships her and treats her like gold.
Rightfully so.
And, you know, I would love to think that I had a little part of that. 100%. I would love to think that, like, somewhere in her DNA, like how I treated her as a little girl and took her on daddy-daughter dates like every single week. And we went out and got manicures and pedicures, and I brought her flowers and spoke life into her and disciplined her. And I would like to think that I had at least a little part of that, but like I couldn't be more grateful for that. But like I really, truly adore being a dad. And I think it's the coolest job, role, experience, you know, that a man could have, because looking at it now, I mean, two of my kids are grown. I have one left in high school, but I mean, I see where they are, and I realize that like I did my job.
Yep.
Like I could legitimately, and this sounds kind of morbid, but I think about it all the time. I could die today, and I know that I gave them everything.
Yeah.
I could die today and know that I gave my kids my heart, my testimony, my love, my connection. There really wouldn't be this like, oh my gosh, I need to tell them all of these things so that they know who their dad was. I really feel like I completed that in how I raised them and how I was as a dad. But I love it, man.
What's your take? Good. Now you've heard our take on a dad.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Obviously, I wish all men could just recognize that this is what it takes to be a good man, but also to be a really good father. You know, and that's... And as a woman, we need that in our lives just as much, right? As a wife, we need to hear those things. But it's such a great example to see it when their daughter and I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you for being so amazing and vulnerable. I would say, you know, understanding being a parent, do you feel like, you said being hard, like, I feel like right now in today's world, there's just a bunch of wet noodles, like, they're just like, oh, do whatever you want. You know, like this generation of just like, figure it out. Like, you're fine. Like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Feeling your emotions. Oh, it's okay to feel emotions. Like, yes, obviously feel emotions. But where's your backbone?
Right.
Where's your grit? I almost feel like my kids, I'm doing them a disservice because they're not suffering.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be forged under fire to become something amazing. But then it's like, I don't know. So there's like a part of me that feels like, are we doing them a disservice by just handing them everything? Or, because I loved what you had brought up, is like, no, I want to give them everything unapologetically. And I would just love like a take on that. Like, how to do, you know?
Yeah. So I have a really cool story around that. I've been super blessed financially, you know, over the years. I've had my ups, I've had my downs, had my seasons. But my son, I bought a Lamborghini years ago. And my son was 16 and he asked me if he could take it to prom. Right? $250,000 Lamborghini Huracan. Yeah. And it was that moment where I stopped, right? And as a dad, like, I would love that if I was a kid. And I know that was a teaching moment that I had as a father. And not judging anybody else, but I think most dads would be like, no, you know what I mean?
You haven't earned it.
For whatever reason, right? Yeah. Whether it's expensive or it's this or you haven't earned it or whatever lesson they're trying to teach. I realized in that moment I had an opportunity to teach my son an invaluable lesson about responsibility.
Yeah.
Because what I've always wanted as a dad is I want my kids to be fiercely independent. If there's one attribute, you know, I want them to be connected to God and have, you know, faith, but I want them to be fiercely independent. It sucks now because my daughter kind of took off and is now married, and I'm like, hey, I'm still your dad. You can call me every now and again. But then I realized, like, no, she has her own family. Go build. Yeah. But I remember that moment where I like looked at my son and I handed him the keys, and we had this exchange where he knew what he was getting himself into. He knew how much this car cost. He knew that this was not a toy.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because I looked at it as an extraordinary teaching moment to teach him responsibility, stewardship over money, stewardship over something valuable, stewardship over, something that is on a different plane.
Yep.
And so for me, I think that, as a dad, I wanted to kind of build the rails and let them just bounce around on the inside and learn and get hurt and touch the stove and figure it out for themselves, but make sure that they didn't kind of go so far that I couldn't ensure that they were safe. And I'll never forget that moment because, I look at my son now, who's 19, and he's investing in the stock market. He's investing in crypto. He's making, 6 figures a year on his own, like out building his own business and his own companies. And I'm grateful for that. So for me, I look at it like, we have to teach these kids discipline. Like, you got to whoop their butt every now and again. People are like, what do you mean whoop their butt? And I'm like, grab my kid's arm and, pull him in close and the whole thing. And, I'm not a guy who like spanks my kids and this, that, and the other, but we have rules.
Yes.
You follow the rules and you can do whatever you want. You don't follow the rules, you don't do what you want.
Yes.
And I really, truly believe it boils down to the parents and to the dads. And as a dad, there's a lot of dads that don't have the backbone, which is why their kids don't have a backbone.
Yes.
There's a lot of dads that don't have discipline, and that's why their kids don't have discipline. There's a lot of dads that are very weak-minded, that don't invest in their mind, that don't look shredded, that are fat, and they have lazy, undisciplined kids. And if that offends you, I don't really give a shit. Do better.
Yeah.
Do better as a dad.
Do more.
That's right.
So that's the reason, like, I'm the example.
Yeah.
I am the example for my children, period. Not the school, not the church, not mom.
Yep.
I'm the example. And so I learned early that it was my job and my duty to teach them the value, to show them a dad who chased his dreams, who built his dreams, who took care of himself, who, when he screwed up, he made it right. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, listen,
so good.
I have a story about Sean that I'd like to share. And I love sharing this story because I think a lot of people look at Sean. He is very strong. He's tough. And he's got this edge, and he's like, some people probably polarizing, like, love him or not. But in my experience, I know the side of Sean, and he's actually at his core an incredible human being. And he cares a ton about people, and I think he's misjudged a lot personally.
Thanks, man.
And I know you have tons and tons of fans, but there's people that misjudge you, just thinking, oh, that guy's a jerk or whatever it is. And so the story goes that years ago, I have this daughter. At the time, she's 14 years old. Her favorite band in the world is the Jonas Brothers. Huh. She watches Disney Channel, and Jonas Brothers had this TV show that she always watched and got to know every single character. Obviously, to her, that was the Beatles.
Okay, yeah. Totally.
So there's a Stadium of Fire here locally, and there's 70,000 people that come to the Stadium of Fire at BYU, the stadium there. So 70,000 people, and they announce their entertainment, and guess who it is?
The Jonas Brothers.
The Jonas Brothers. And at the time, I'm starting a business, and I happen to be in one of the darkest, hardest moments of my life. I don't have the money, and it's not in the cards. It's in the thousands of dollars. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely not in the cards. But I put the money in, and I bought tickets. So I had a ticket for my daughter and I to go to the Jonas Brothers. And she was stoked. She was so excited. She gets to see like living legends to her. So we're all getting excited about the event. It's like maybe a week before the concert, and she's ready. She's excited to go see it. I get a call from this guy who happens to be sponsoring the Stadium of Fire with his business.
Yeah.
And he says to me on the phone, he's like, hey, Sean, I got a couple of backstage passes to meet the Jonas Brothers, but I don't care about the Jonas Brothers. Do you happen to want these tickets? And I was like, yeah, I want those tickets. And so I got in my car, I screeched my tires, I went over to his place, and I picked up the 2 tickets. So I go, and it's day of, and they have a tent next to the stadium. And the tent, they have bodyguards of all the Joe Bros, or bodyguards are in there. And the bodyguards come out to the waiting fans of these girls, And they say no cameras, no phones, nothing. You can't even talk to the Jonas Brothers. Don't say anything. We're just going to, you get up, you take the picture, and you move on. And so my daughter, I have a video of it's my favorite video I have of this daughter. So she's standing in line with all these other girls. Guess who sneaks in his phone? This guy. He sneaks in the phone despite possibly being tased. He sneaks his phone in and he captures this video, is how we got this video. And my daughter's like nervously waiting, and she's like, she's going to meet literally Jonas Brothers. So you can tell she is just like, she's so nervous, and it's her turn to go meet him. She gets up to the front of the line. You can tell she's just like losing her mind. Mm-hmm. And she gets up there, and they all put their arms around her and take a photo. And then she starts walking off, and Nick Jonas says, "Hey, wait a minute," to my daughter, and touches her arm, and says, "Come back." So my daughter turns around, and Nick gives her a hug, and then Joe gives her a hug, and then they all give her a hug, and he captured this on video.
Wow.
And then my daughter finishes with that, and then she starts walking away, and just tears just start pouring down her face.
I'm gonna bawl.
I know. I was like, I want to do a reel about this because I want to show this video of my daughter in that moment. So she's like, just tears just pour out of her eyes. And so I love telling that story because that's the Sean Whalen.
Yeah.
He didn't call up and say, "Hey, can you cut me a check for that?" Or, "Hey, can you pay me back here?" He just gave to me with asking nothing in return in a time that I needed it. So that's my story. I love sharing that about this guy because that shows his true soul and true heart of who he is.
Thanks,
and that's why I think people misjudge you. Thanks,
man. I appreciate it. I love life. I love making people happy, trying to make people happy, just living a good life, and I'm passionate about it. And I think that gets misconstrued a lot, you know what I mean? And I'm okay with it, but man, we woke up today. Like, I really feel blessed that I get to do this life. Yeah. And sometimes it pisses people off, and sometimes they say the right things, sometimes they say the wrong things, but I mean, I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? So love it. I love that story.
Well, I definitely know that there's no one that I'm more grateful to be sitting between. Thank you.
You're awesome.
Sharing your guys' stories. Seriously, so iconic. I also think that what you share is just living proof. Like, you're living proof. And I think we need more examples of that, of just you're living proof of being a good person. It's what you do, it's not what you say. And I think that's, people get this so tweaked where it's like, yes, you say a lot of things, right? You do. You're very vocal. But I feel like what people don't get is people they follow you because of what you do, not necessarily what you even say. And I think that people get that really as entrepreneurs, you see people doing all these things, or you're like, oh, I hear them saying things, but it's actually you living that life.
Yeah.
You have to live authentically, and then it's not hard. Because if you're just like, I'm here, then it's like not hard to do social media. It's not hard to do a business because it's like, this is who I am. I am the business. I don't know, right? Like,
no,
I feel like
I get it, man. I love it. And I got that a long time ago. I just realized that, I am who I am. I've made money. I've lost money. I've fallen flat on my face. I get sad. I'm happy. Like, I have good days. I have bad days. And like, I just chose a long time ago to just be open about it all, and I feel like there's pros and cons to it, but the pros far outweigh the cons. And so for me, like, the people that don't like me or call me this or call me that or judge this or judge that, I'm okay with it because, I get to have cool experiences with friends, and I have traveled the world and met people that are like, dude, this video and that video or this thing that you said. And that really is like, it fuels me. It helps me see that, like, I only get one shot, man. Yeah. Like, I really only have one shot at this life. Like, all of us.
So good.
Like, I have two choices. I can either be all in, play all in, love all in, build all in, bet all in, risk all in, or not. And, I feel like if you win more than you lose, then you end up with a pretty good freaking life,
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
And a lot of great stories along the way.
So good.
Appreciate you so much.
Love you guys.
So amazing. Well, as always, thank you for joining us for the podcast. Please give us a thumbs up. And in the comments, tell us your best takeaways. Tell us if something that Sean shared or that Sean's shared,
Sean.
Yeah.
the Sean show, that, you know, like it inspired you to be a better person, to be a better dad, to live full and authentically. Thank you.
Man.
Thanks, guys.